Hell the fucko, and welcome to Admit One, your movie and TV podcast right here on Rabbit Hole Media. I am one of your hosts, Jack Netley Thompson, and this week, or this time, I'm joined, as always and as usual, by one Kristian Lasham.
Thwip, 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 thwippity, thwip, thwip, thwip. Thwip.
Indeed, and this time we are joined by one Charlie Couper, who's decided to copy us and grow a beard.
Fly.
Well, it's because you and I are fashion icons.
Yeah. It's because I was the only one. I was the only one on the channel without one. I thought, come on.
Never thought I'd be called a fashion icon whilst wearing this.
It's iconic.
I love it.
And it's fashion.
I'm jealous. I'm not gonna lie.
It's pretty great.
It's very vivid on the camera, though.
It is very vivid. It was too much money. But that's neither here nor
We
there.
w't talk about that. It's not relevant.
Yep, sorry.
Move your arm out of my airspace.
Your ass space. Trust me, it won't be going out there.
I heard airspace.
Well, I'm not an American, am I?
True.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Aye.
No lower thirds.
Not with our three names on.
I see. It pops against the grey.
Woof.
What?
I don't know. Use your imagination.
Sorry. Hi, Hannah.
Of course, we are here to talk about No Way Home. Spider-Man! Would be more obvious from the picture, but Charlie's in the way. There you go.
Thwip, thwip, thwip.
Thwip, thwip, thwip. Of course,
indeed.
we will be talking about the movie and all its spoiler glory. We'll be doing some reading the things. And at the end, I want to talk about future of Spider-Man.
Oh, yes, please. Let's do that.
Because
do that.
there have been 3 interviews with 3 different people that give pieces of information that create this picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm intrigued to yap it out. But anyway, general thoughts on No Way Home.
You haven't done the rigmarole.
Riggedy
Do we have
wiggedy.
time for that? This is Admit One, your movie and TV podcast, right here on Rabbit Hole Media. If you like what you're doing and what you're doing is watching us, you can follow us on Twitter at rabbithole_UK. You can subscribe to us on YouTube where you can see us anytime that you wish. You can follow us on Twitch at Rabbit Hole Media, and you can subscribe and follow on multiple different podcast services on and around the internet.
Thwip,
Indeed.
thwip, thwip, thwip.
Stop saying thwip.
Sorry.
And now you can follow us on Instagram at rabbithole_media_UK and on TikTok at Rabbit Hole Media for all the behind the scenes tits and bits. If you would like to support us, head to merch.rabbitholemedia.co.uk for a wide range of merchandise that recently got wider. Well, it didn't, but... And finally, if you are watching us live on Twitch and are an Amazon Prime member, you get 1 free Twitch Prime membership a month. Please find it within your hearts to give that membership to us. Doesn't cost you a penny, but goes a very long way helping us bring you the shows that you love.
I added mouse mats last week,
Oh, did he?
so it did get wider.
Why?
Because I went on and it let me add mouse mats.
Didn't we already? I assumed we already had
No,
mouse
there
mats.
There's one over there.
No, that
That was from a different store.
Oh, okay.
I bought that from Vistaprint years ago now.
I see.
But no, I went on the other day having a look after we were discussing merch, and it just was some new options, and one of them was mouse mats. I was like, oh,
Fair enough.
mouse mats, add.
I have a new
Fair.
appreciation for how difficult the rigmarole is after Kristian made me do it last week. And I just went, it was basically going, and now we had a woman, help!
And what I got from that gibberish was you saying, and now we hit a woman.
Oh no!
What?
That's what it sounded like. You're
Did
telling me, yeah.
Bro, let's not do that.
No, obviously, it wasn't a
I don't know why you're
suggestion.
suggesting it, Jack.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Move on.
Charlie's here, ladies and gentlemen.
Jack's here.
I'm always here.
We weren't last week.
Yeah.
I had plans. We're here, of course, to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. I think I know everybody's general thoughts, but general thoughts on Spider-Man, spoiler-free on the Spider-Man No Way Home. Kristian.
Didn't like it.
Well, you're a cunt.
So I'm very annoyed that I've only seen this film once.
Same. Fuck adult life. There are so many things that I would have rather dropped,
Yeah.
like dealing with humans.
Yeah.
That,
Anything.
oh
To be totally
yeah, I would
honest.
have.
This.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what we should have done? We should have just watched it and then recorded this in the car.
Yeah, that's true.
I suggested after our first view, and we did it on my phone outside the cinema.
You did.
So
There was obviously a lot of building up, a lot of hype around this film and what this film could have been and maybe potentially would have been, and etc. And for me, it hit. I think for me, it did meet all of the expectations of what I could have wanted from this film, not just from nostalgia point of view, but from the continuation of Tom Holland's version of the character and how it's going to fit within the rest of the MCU and other things it maybe sets up for the MCU. In terms of keeping the scale up from things like Endgame, that's been such a big talking point across the industry, let alone this channel, since Endgame, of how they're going to keep this up in the ante. And we've been talking about it even more so with the amount of new shows they've had coming out and everything else. Like, where are they building towards? What are they building towards to keep us at this kind of level of excitement and fan service and everything that was good about Endgame? And for me, this is just evidence that they clearly are able to keep going with it, because this was right up there with for me. I think there's so many really good things about this film, which we'll get into more in spoilers. I do have a few things as I thought about it since, where not issues, but like potential plot holes, which are probably things that are answered that I've just not worked out the answer to, or I've missed bits of information in the film, because that first viewing was a lot of me having a crisis. So there were many things I missed because I was too busy going, So there were many things I missed. So I have a few like, what happened here? And there are a few like, what does this mean with this? And there's definitely but wasn't he this? So I do have some questions, which we will get into. I don't doubt that all of them have answers. But yeah, all in all, what a fucking film.
yeah.
Indeed. Charlie. That's too loud. That's too loud.
Oh well, that's my drum applause.
Great. Thanks,
Right,
man.
okay, well, I'll podcast, shall I?
No, it was just. I walked out of it. I saw you guys, and obviously we just didn't discuss it because we come to do this. And I did see it again a couple of days later, and it was like, to give a comparison. Do you remember after you rolled credits on Last of Us 2, and Kristian, you said to me that we don't have the vocabulary to describe how experience was? I felt a little bit like that, but it and I wanted to see it a second time to go, is it just the old memberries fair enough, and I'm loving it because of that. But no, just the performances. Willem Dafoe, oh my god, what a performance! I put a post up on Facebook saying that was just one of the best acting performances I've seen in anything, and he's always been great, but this is just next level. I loved the arc of the villains. For me, I think for most people, that was probably the second best part of it. And they paired up enough going on, enough dialogue with the action perfectly. There was no point where I was bored waiting for anything to happen. Just overall as a viewing experience, fantastic.
Bit good, wasn't it?
Yes.
On our podcast, shall I?
Yeah.
Well, I was doing a funny callback.
Yeah, we should have that on a
So
mic.
I was hosting. So you're
You've
welcome.
just come up with an idea now. 'Cause
You
remember
have.
our review scale? If we get that printed on a mug.
Oh my god. Really siphon out the monies is one per mug.
One per mug. Yeah. Because then also the best thing is you can buy the mug for your friend giving them a review.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Yeah.
score you a 4.
Why? You just give you why?
What? Can you imagine that? Just like my brother. Why have you given me a mug with particularly pooey shit written on it?
Yeah,
That's
anyway.
how I rate you, friend.
Exactly.
Anyway, this movie is fantastic in every feasible way. I climaxed many times.
Yes.
He did. I witnessed it.
And
Some landed on me, and I was on the other side of the screen.
It was it's powerful.
Yes.
Yeah, as Kristian said, there are some things that I'm just like, okay, but we'll get to it.
We'll roll with it.
And some things I'm just like, movies, Sony.
Yes,
there are some bits where I just went, Sony is involved. Doesn't take away from anything. This movie is fucking fantastic. There was a couple of bits I was worried about, and the worry was confirmed, but again, also doesn't really take away from anything because this was fucking fantastic. And I'll watch it. Why not you get in?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. Agreed.
Anyway, spoilers. you have now to leave.
Exactly. Yeah, if you've not seen this film, what are you doing? Go and watch the film.
Yeah.
We're now going to hard spoil it, and this is one of these few ones where I've put spoilers in the name of the stream as well, because, like, big spoilers. I mean, if you're on the internet, you've probably seen a lot of the spoilers anyway.
Yeah.
But big spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home about to happen.
Indeed. Yes. Where the fuck do we even begin?
I don't know. Where do we begin?
I want to end on a high note, so I'm going to get all my guff.
Okay. I'm interested to
way.
hear what your were.
So the hums were... My hums were the suits, because they were like, this is nonsense, adds nothing to the story, you're selling toys.
I see. Okay.
Which suits?
All of them. So
We needed one.
Well, no. So obviously, the one that he was wearing, continuing over from Far From Home.
So do you mean the amount of times Tom Holland changed suits?
Yeah,
he had
yeah.
a few.
Oh, well, yes.
Or are we talking like everyone else as well? Because there were many people with suits in this film.
Sorry, yes. I mean, Tom Holland's suits.
Cool, fine.
Because then there's just a moment where it's covered in paint, so he turns it inside out. That's a different suit.
Yeah.
And then obviously he's got the Iron Spider suit as well. That's not new. That's fine. But when Doc Ock gives back the things, it just forms this new spider.
The
and I
hybrid suit, they're calling it.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
It
It does
didn't add
nothing.
anything,
I
did
thought
it?
it was just going to add some new, like, he's got some nanotech ability,
Yeah,
but no, it
it's-
just added a pretty spider.
Yeah.
It's all merchandising here.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was just like...
absolutely.
Oh, yes, I forgot Sony was involved.
You say that, but don't Disney have the merchandising?
Yeah,
rights?
but they never usually pull this shit.
True.
They give him different suits, but they write it into the plot better than...
Yeah.
So I just feel like that's where Sony was shining through a little
Maybe,
bit.
yeah.
Laziness, essentially. We're not doing this in particular order, are we?
Not currently.
No.
I mean,
Is the plan to? Because I think it would take too long to get to the bits we want to talk to if we do it in some
Yeah,
form
we'll
of
be here
order.
all night.
however you think's best. You're in charge.
Cool, I'm in charge. In which case, post-credit scene. I'm not kidding. It makes 0% sense that Venom was here.
Correct.
Yep.
Which will, I know what you're going to say, and it'll bring me to another issue I have as well. But
Well, no, obviously, it's only the people who knew who Peter Parker was.
yeah,
Came over. Mm-hmm. Venom doesn't.
no, but neither does Electro.
Well, at the end of...
Yeah, neither does Electro. Yeah, no.
But at the
So-
end of Let Be Carnage, he does recognise... Have you seen...
No, he's just
No.
attracted to
I
the
s-
idea because it's from a
okay.
different. He travels
Right, I
into
He's seeing Tom Holland Spider-Man at that,
for the
so
first
it's-
time.
yeah.
Like he doesn't know who
see.
Spider-Man
Spoilers
is.
for
I-
the end of Venom, by the
I
way.
thought that because he explains
yeah.
to Eddie that the symbiote exists over all universes at the same time.
It does.
It does.
That's what
it
I
does,
thought
which
that-
is why the symbiote stays at the end when
Yeah.
Tom Hardy gets pulled back.
Yeah.
A bit of.
Or a bit of it,
Yeah.
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 But no, yeah, the whole point of the plot of the film essentially is everyone finds out who Tom Holland, who Peter Parker is, who Spider-Man is, I should say, thanks to Mysterio. It's causing carnage. To make it go away, Peter Parker goes to Doctor Strange. Says, "Can we do a spell to make everyone forget?" It goes wrong. Instead, what happens is everyone that knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man gets pulled into
Yeah.
the universe from the other universes. That's what happens. Hey, Cassia. Still, quick segue, which I've learned recently how to spell, thanks to Hannah.
This is not quick.
I've forgotten it. Oh no. A lot of my predictions for this film turned out to be fairly close, but I
Yeah,
just
same.
wanted to say, but we'll get to that later.
That's because it was predictions based on everything the internet was
Oh,
saying.
yes, true.
So the internet was correct.
Shut your face. I'm on the internet.
He's got you.
So yeah, the plot was that. So the idea is that then these characters come over because they know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and they all come over either real time or just towards the end of as they're about to die, isn't it? They get pulled out of their universe. Just that's what we hear from Goblin.
They're all
and-
destined to die.
They're all
yeah.
destined to die, and apart from Sandman and Lizard. Mm-hmm. But the three that were, they both give you their story of, well, this was happening, and I was, oh yeah, and then I got pulled in, and like Electro has the moment of, oh yeah, I was just about to die, wasn't I? That's what was happening. So they will get pulled in just at the end of their timelines, or I presume at a current, up-to-date point, which is how we're going right full in with spoilers here.
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool,
It's
fine.
The spoiler section.
Because just wanted to double check. Yes, they're in this movie.
Yes.
Excellent.
done.
Right, cool.
Right, cool.
So, Just saying we're not hiding around this. They're in this fucking movie. So when Tobey Maguire and Garfield come in, they're coming in at an up-to-date point. Like, it's why it's an older Maguire, because time has passed to them. So
not as much.
Yeah, but it's only passed to them, not the villains.
yes, because the villains have died.
Yeah.
So like they've all been pulled out at the most recent possible point within their own time.
You can argue Lizard had died as well, because the Lizard
He
was
was-
taken
that
out
one was-
of him. Like, obviously, Connors survived, but the Lizard was no more by the end of that film. So you could argue that he did die.
Yeah,
from
but
this
that
one.
one is nonsense.
Yeah, there was a few little things like that. So obviously the kind of like, like, where was Gwen? So obviously there's a lot of characters that didn't come over that probably could have done, but then also didn't have to be relevant for the plot. So it doesn't mean to say that they weren't just there somewhere. Like Toby and Andrew only came in because they know themselves as Peter Parker, is my guess. That's the shoehorn for them being pulled across.
For sure. Hannah says, "Where was Gwen?" Well,
She was dead.
no,
So was Doc Ock, and like this is the thing. This is
It would have been. She would have been one of the people who would, because there was a lot more people
and there
coming.
was yeah.
So they cut off the spell pretty quickly, and,
Yeah.
and
those
these
were just the ones who managed
these are the
it,
ones
yeah.
who managed to get through. Everyone else, because obviously, if you take a multiverse, it's going to be more than 5 people.
Yeah.
That fucking know this.
It's going to be infinite.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's fair to assume that they it's, for me, that's kind of like a fair way of, okay, I can buy this for the sake of going. We're just giving you the live action universes you've seen and what's relevant for this film. I could buy this, because you could also say, well, why wasn't the other Harry there? Why wasn't the other Eddie Brock there? Because they also know, but it's just would have been way too much and not really relevant. And I think
And also, you want to forget that.
you want to forget them. Yeah, exactly. But the only ones that then where I take real umbrage is, as you say, Tom Hardy's Venom and Electro, that neither of them knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, so that doesn't make sense as to why they were brought over.
The Venom thing, I go, Sony.
Yeah.
And then
absolutely.
the Electro thing, they're just like, it's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess with that one, it's the fact that who else they wanted to have, I guess, a couple of villains from each universe, and there aren't many from the Amazing Spider-Man because there's only 2 films.
Yeah,
So,
no, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
they're not, like you say, you're not going to pick Harry from that franchise. Fucking hell.
No.
No, for
Correct.
anything.
It'd be very funny if they chose Rhino of all people.
That would be really funny. I did like the reference to Rhino.
Yeah, like you got a call out.
Yeah, no, well, they all did.
Yeah.
Venom got a call out as well.
Yeah.
So, are the other issues you had?
It was mainly that sort of stuff where a lot of the... Oh, no, my main thing was that I was just like... I assumed they were going to be in it, but my main thing was like, I kind of hope they don't. It's going to take away everything from the villains, and for me it did. As soon as they showed up, I was like, I don't really care that these are the villains from the movie. Like, it doesn't matter to me. These could be brand new versions of these characters. It wouldn't make a difference.
I had the complete opposite. For me, it made it even more of a thing. For me, it was like they're bringing over so much more, and when Garfield Peter comes through the portal, and then he sees Hobie. One of the first things I sort of fleetingly thought was, I can't wait to see Tobey Maguire and Ock again together, particularly now after they'd essentially fixed the chip for Ock, and it's like, God, the whole dynamic's going to be like what they were before the chip broke, and how well they got on, that sort of mentorship relationship. I was actually quite excited to see that again. So, yeah, for me, no, I had the total opposite feeling on it.
No, I enjoyed it, and I thought all the callbacks in the interactions and stuff were cool, and I loved it, and I wouldn't change it. But at the same time, it's just like I wasn't particularly excited that they were there anymore.
Sure,
because it was just like, oh, this is better. This is better. And to be honest, there was one surprise show up that topped all of it for me personally. That was my leg grabbing Endgame moment.
Yeah.
Well, obviously in Endgame, it was when Cap caught Thor's hammer. That's when I molested you. And then in
caught
this,
my hammer.
Exactly,
Hey,
exactly. And
very good.
in this, it was when Daredevil showed up.
Yeah.
And I was expecting it to happen again if the others showed up, but I don't know. It just felt obviously it was fucking awesome. That scene does feel it felt a bit long and forced, and when they showed up,
when they show up in the apartment.
Yeah, it felt a bit long and dragged out, and just like, right, okay, like it's meant to be a big hurrah moment, and obviously you would do it as a big hurrah moment, but it just, I don't know, it just kind of stopped. The film just kind of stopped for a moment to go.
Yeah.
I loved it either way. It was great.
Yeah,
but
weird because
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I just have took a completely different sentiment to each of those things. Because I think everything you're saying is correct. I just none of the. So, for example, the villain thing. Yes, you're totally right. Those two being there did take away from the villains, but for me, didn't matter because that wasn't what this story was about, and it was kind of them being there was cool, but also wasn't really the big for me the best thing about this film is Tom Holland's story and what's happening with his actual character arc, which I think is the main part of this story. Like you had mentioned in the beginning about the villains' arcs, I don't think the villains really had much of an arc, to be totally honest. The villains didn't have much arc.
They remained villains.
They all remained villains, and but Ock didn't have an arc. Here's what happened with Ock. The same thing that happened in Spider-Man 2. Because he's redeemed at the end of Spider-Man 2, so there wasn't actually an arc, and that's not a bad thing. It was
more. What I mean, arc's probably the wrong word to use. It was the massive change in. It's essentially where he grabs Andrew and Toby, and you think, oh fuck, for a split second, like has this?
I didn't.
For about half a second, I did. And then turns round, grabs Elektra. That for me was like, I never thought in a million years you'd see that, and no one did. No one ever expected them to be a year ago or 2 years ago. No one ever expected this one to be made in this way, And I think that's what I mean. It's more of arc's definitely the wrong word. I'm struggling to find the word that I do need, but it was just the flip of that character.
I think what you're referring to there is nothing more than it's kind of a callback to what we'd seen because it's calling back to him having that arc in the film he's in.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it is, and it's a continuation of that.
There was always a good person in that.
But for me, it's like all those things all of the stuff with the franchise, other franchises coming in, I thought was great. I thought the three Spider-Man together was actually really good. I thought the three of them bounced off each other from a chemistry point of view really well.
Well, both Garfield and Maguire were better in this movie than they were ever in any of their movies. Shows what... Doesn't matter how good of an actor you are. If your writing is shit, it doesn't matter.
And I've been saying for the last few weeks since you've been watching Spider-Man films, I can't wait to see what a good studio and a good set of writers and showrunners and everything do with these actors and these versions of the characters, because they can do something really good, and they did. But it's what every single one of these characters did fantastic. And I mean Maguire's Spider-Man and
Maguire's
Spider-Man and Garfield Spider-Man and Doc Ock and Green Goblin and the Sand Guy and Electro, and what all of them did was give our current Peter Parker a platform to grow and develop in a different way. And it's his story, I think, that really stands out. And what they've managed to do is use all these fantastic fan service moments, callbacks, cool action scenes, and these big hype moments just to elevate that story. And that is, for me, what Endgame was doing as well. Endgame had a cool story, a cool set of character arcs, but also was able to have all these fantastic hype moments in it and fan service moments, and that's what this film did really well. And what I think the MCU is going to continue doing. They'll probably have a few down films in the meantime, because like I've said before, you have to build to these things. They've kind of been building to this since 2000.
They've kind of done it now. To get like the mental stuff we're gonna get into the multiverse, they've done it now.
Well, yeah,
because the next film is Doctor Strange.
Yeah, exactly. So, and anything can happen. Anything can happen now at this point. But that's where I think they're at their best, and the way all those characters work together to support that story, for me, is where this film stands out. So, I agree with you. Having them there did take away from these other things and whatnot, but they all elevated this other part in such a way that it completely balances it out. I didn't care so much about those villains, but it was because I didn't really need to. No. There wasn't the point. That's not what they're there. They're not there for that.
No. So. One thing I found really weird, one thing I found really odd was, why was Sandman always in sand form?
Yeah, there was a few things like that.
I was just like, did they just not get the actor for very long, and he just did ADR for the lines and stuff. And okay, fair enough. It's obviously going to be quite hard to get this many actors involved at the right times. But then he was in it.
Yeah.
When he was cured, I was like,
yeah, there was a few things like that. There was a few, but they're such small.
They are
issues. It's kind of just like okay, fine.
It was weird more than anything.
Same variant as from Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Because we that's 100%.
Yes,
that's the whole point.
Yes,
right.
that's the entire point. Yeah. To do anything else would be completely futile.
Obviously, Electrode looks different. Max.
Yeah, but they tell you that in the film.
Yeah,
he's blue when he's first there.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
It's the power is different. Yeah. The electricity is different.
He has different electricity, different power. It changes.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So that's answered. Strangely, that's answered, and not not how he knows it.
Yeah.
Because they even address that he doesn't know when he talks to him at the end.
Yeah.
They address it. Because they have to say is like,
I thought you were black.
Yeah.
Or I was hoping you were black or something. Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think for me is just a setup to say they're going to do something Miles Morales.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably, yeah.
I really enjoyed Andrew Garfield's reaction to that. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like he's like genuinely like, "I've let you down."
I just enjoyed Andrew Garfield in this film.
He was great. He was great. I do have the tingle thing, just not for bread.
Yeah.
Like,
he's on the scene. Like, can you get that way? This is like,
plenty.
It's just like the shit I have to deal with when he gets called Peter 3.
The whole Peter 3 thing was hilarious. Great! That's the thing he keeps saying back to me. He's like, right, so Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3. Yeah,
that was great.
I thought that was all. I think everything they did with the 3 Spider-Man... Sorry, I was going to say, because you had said about the point of when they first come in the apartment, and that kind of feels like a halt. The problem I had with this film, which is a me problem, is that I spent the beginning of this film, a big chunk of this film, going, please just get to it. Because I want to know. I just want to know, so just get to it. So for me, I was, at that point was when I then felt relaxed. I was like, I finally feel like I'm relaxed about this film because I know they're here and I know that Daredevil's been here.
Oh, it peaked. It peaked. Yeah, I didn't mention it earlier. That obviously the surprise show was fucking Daredevil.
Yeah,
that was like with the other Spider-Man showing up. I was like, it's not gonna happen. Just to temper expectations, and I wouldn't really have minded if they didn't. To be fair, but I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
But the one I was just like, it's not gonna happen. Don't be stupid. Is Daredevil, but then we see this shot of Tom Holland, a guy standing there, and then a cane, and I just molested, and I was just like, oh my fucking god, and then just.
Camilla had to tell us to be quiet a few times.
Yes.
Sorry. Really? How can you be heard in an IMAX screen? How loud were you talking?
Well, she was sitting next to us.
We weren't talking. We were
jizzing.
Yes.
Yes.
You are quite a loud jizzer from experience, Kristian. So.
Yeah, and yes, Daredevil, and then obviously Fisk in Hawkeye, spoilers for Hawkeye, as well. And I'm just like, they're bringing it in. Now all I need is Punisher, and I'll be happy. I don't care about everyone else.
No,
give it time. And yet, I really liked the Daredevil scene as well. I should say that the brick catch, which is just a confirmation that he is definitely
Daredevil. He's Daredevil. He's not just Matt Murdock. Yeah, he's Daredevil. How did you do that? I'm a really good lawyer.
Great line.
I think there are loads of fantastic lines in this, and I think the reveal of the 2 Peter Parkers was really cool.
Yeah.
Because it was an unexpected way of them doing it. Really.
It was I'd say it slowed it down, but it was still an enjoyable, funny scene. Because even like Maguire was like, I hope you don't mind. I've just come through this. It's closed. It's really funny. My mum says, "Can you just get that web as you're already up there?"
I loved Ned's reaction to Peter 2, to Tobey Maguire, when he's saying, "Oh, so do you have like a best friend?" He's thinking, "Oh, you had a guy in the chair." Like, he died in my arms. It was heartbreaking. He's like, "I promise I will never turn into a supervillain and try and kill you." He's like, thank you. Yeah. That was great. The reaction.
I loved that whole scene actually.
In the lab.
All of them in the lab trying to come up with.
That's amazing.
Trying to come up.
They recreated the meme. The pointing at each other, the 3 Spider-Men pointing at each other meme. They recreated that in that scene.
I missed that.
There's a bit. So when
Ned says Peter,
and they go, what? Peter Parker, and they're all like, no. They did the meme.
I did enjoy that whole. We're all Peter. We're all
Peter Parker. No.
That's what I mean. Like the 3 of them together worked. I think every single.
Sad we're not going to see more of it.
I reckon we probably will, but we'll get into that later. That was a different conversation. I think the three of them together, every part of them worked together. The bit of dialogue each of them had together worked really, really well because they didn't shy away from the fact that they knew what they were going to have to do here is fan service. And, I've seen a few people complaining about this film saying, oh, it's just fan service. Like, yes, that's what makes it good. That's also what made Endgame good. It's fan service. Fan service is good because it's there to service the fans. Like, this is a good thing.
There's bad fan service. This wasn't it.
The shoehorn fan service.
The shoehorn fan service, yeah.
That takes away from what they're actually trying to do. This didn't take away from what they were trying to do at all.
It was fan service. And they, they did the things they're supposed to do. They did the whole, how did you just do the web shooter thing? And the fact they just kind of...
I mean, they should have had it.
Well, they did have a point where Garfield got webbed in the face, and he's like, "Oh,
that's
gross!"
gross.
It does happen. And
does it come out of anywhere else?
Yeah, they did everything that kind of felt right for those characters to be discussing with each other. Like, so have you done this? Have you done that? And
if there's one thing cooler than magic, it's math. Anyway, sorry, that line just came into my head.
And even just the simple things like, oh, my back. He's like, oh yeah, we'll just swing in and. The web block thing.
Yeah, existential crisis, yeah.
And the way she's like, oh yeah, I get that. It just made sense to those characters.
I'm lame. Yeah. I want to fight an alien.
I thought a rhino in a robot suit.
I thought a Russian.
That's it, yeah.
A rhino in a robot. That would have been a better film.
Really good, yeah.
A Russian in a rhino machine, yeah.
But even just as simple as no, you're amazing. He's really I think that it was all fantastic. Every time they were on screen together was really, really good. But not only was their chemistry really good, we got some fantastic three-way Spider-Man action. Like the bit when they're like, right, this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to team up. This is what we're going to do. Trust your tingle, listen to each other. And then off they go. And the way they jump off with that swinging sequence, with them swinging off each other. And
Are you in a band?
I was part of the Avengers. You were in the Avengers. That's amazing. What's that?
How is this helping?
But all of those moments and that swinging scene, I was just sitting there just grinning like a fucking idiot. In the same way I was for the Avengers Assemble moment in Endgame, when you then get them all charge off and I'm grinning like an idiot. I was doing it in this. And I just couldn't stop thinking the entire time. I was like, how the fuck are we still getting this with Marvel? I remember it being...
And then we get Venom.
But I remember in 2018, we were sat there having a conversation with these mics, not around this table, but with these mics going... It's mad that we're getting this. It's mad that we're getting this.
This was pre-Endgame as well.
And now fuck it. We're still here. We're still here having these conversations. We're still here having these awesome moments with these films. And it just blows my mind that we're still experiencing this. And no one's going to get to experience this again. We're the generation of people that get to experience this shit.
Yeah.
And one day we'll be trying to tell our kids about it and they won't give a shit.
No.
They won't understand.
It'll be like my dad trying to show me Jason the Argonauts.
Exactly.
This is shit. Yeah,
well, don't worry. You have until the age of 18 to give them up to adults. To put them in a foster home.
Don't worry, I plan to raise them sensibly with Marvel in their veins. But
ironically, we're talking about a film about orphans.
I'm going to be playing the Avengers theme during the childbirth.
Of my child.
Yes. I'm going to just be out there with a boombox.
You get people that play Mozart to the stomach. Straight to the womb. Just do that.
Avengers, yes.
Considering you're a musician, that was incredibly accurate in every sense. It was out of
quite
time, it was out of
stuffed
tune.
Ridiculous. The staff we have.
Yes, no,
well, at least I turned up.
All of those, it's a shame, innit? All of those moments, fantastic.
Indeed.
One of the other things I missed because I was too busy molesting you. What did Matt Murdock do to solve the problem for them?
Don't know.
I don't think they said. I just think it was I don't think he did much. He was just representing them, and I think it was just a case of they don't really have anything. They don't have proof that he killed Mysterio because he didn't.
Yeah.
So there isn't anything. I loved the whole. Happy's fucked. Like this is an irrelevant. This is an accidental aside that has happened. That Happy is fucked, and then all the stolen Stark tech, and then Peter finds it and she goes, "Oh, Happy." It's very handy that they did find it though. But I don't think he did much. I think it was just he was representing them, and they had nothing.
It's fair enough. I wasn't sure because I was so busy going.
One thing
I wasn't sure if there was something I'd missed.
Yeah. I looked out for it in my second viewing, and
one thing I was just like, this isn't unique to this film. This has always been a thing with Marvel for me. Was why are the Avengers okay, but Spider-Man's a vigilante? I've always just found that weird. I know they try to do the whole vigilanteism thing with Civil War and what have you, but then still half of the Avengers were okay.
It's because, I guess it's that the public believe, or half of it believe, he killed Mysterio, who they believe to be the greatest superhero.
It's always like that. Not just in the universe, in the comics, in the shows, in the thing. It's always like that. And it's the same with X-Men. Why are the Avengers okay, but the X-Men are shunned?
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things I'm always just like, why is he a vigilante? But it's the same with DC. Hello, phase. Oh, why is Batman a vigilante and Superman's a hero? Like, it never makes any sense. But I've always just been like, he's being questioned. Like he's part of the Avengers. Do you not give the Avengers the benefit of the doubt in that scenario? Do you not also? We have specialists in the real world that can tell if a video has been edited.
Yeah.
And if audio has been edited. And the bit where he says, yes, execute them all, edited.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I reckon, like, in the real world, that would take 2 minutes to disprove.
Yeah.
But also, what the opening of this movie did, made me realise I fucking hate people.
Oh, yeah.
God, I hate people.
They just
immediately swarmed him. And then that woman... It was just like, Spider-Man hit me! I was like, I wish he fucking did. Shut your mouth. Like, he's just trying to swing away and you're like, oh, Spider-Man. Spider-Man hit me. No, if he hit you, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just one of the, like, this is someone who is in the Avengers. You know is very strong, very fast, very high in resource because of his time with the Avengers. And yet you try and throw a brick through his window when you know in 2 seconds flat he can make you disappear.
And you think he's a murderer.
Yeah, exactly. You think he's a malicious murderer, and yet you try with superpowers, and yet you try and piss him off.
It's mad because crazy stuff like that happens.
Fully confirm if this was me in that scenario, I would have leapt out of the window and snapped him in half.
Yep.
And now I just throw your body in space.
Almost as if to prove their point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay.
But also when I saw who just all over the cinema.
Okay.
Yep, I think most people that went to see this film did. That cinema is full of people's cum.
Yes, I
at different points for people as well.
Yeah.
Everyone had a different gist, but you could hear them going off.
Just hear
It was like the Bellagio fountain in Vegas going off.
Lord above. Lord above.
So
I still don't think that's the worst thing that was said there. Okay.
We got to talk about the ending.
We do. Before that, do we want to... Because obviously we get a bit of insight into what's been going on with the other Spider-Man in the universe.
We do?
Yeah.
So obviously Toby's still with MJ somehow after he punched her in the face.
Yep.
And just being a general piece of shit throughout that entire series. Both of them, to be fair. It's complicated, but they're making it work. The one that's more interesting, though, is fucking Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Shock.
Who has stopped pulling his punches.
Stopped pulling his punches.
Dark.
So I imagine there is a row of corpse.
Yeah.
Is he just straight up murdering his villains now?
I think he might be.
He might be.
Well, the whole big plot point is that they don't want Tom Holland to fall down that same route in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's Tobey Maguire saying, like, I killed the person that killed my uncle. And
Well, he
thought he did.
Well, he thought he did. And
well, no, he says he went to go and kill... Because he didn't actually kill him.
no,
I
but
thought he fell out a window.
No, he fell out a window.
He holds himself responsible for his death, so, regardless. And then Andrew Garfield obviously holds himself responsible. He always did anyway. He held himself responsible for Gwen's death and Gwen's dad's death, but now he seems to be actively killing people from what we can tell, and they don't want to see him go down that route. So all they're doing is trying to stop him, and that's why they don't go back to their universities, why they don't stay out of it. Is that we need to help you not go down this same dark route, and that's all they're doing throughout that entire fight. Because they have that like when Peter 1 is beating the shit out of Norman Osborn. Fucking excellent, by the way.
It's brilliant.
The little look they give each other of like, we know what's going on here and we know what we need to do. I mean, it is almost like a Tobey Maguire giving it, I've got this. That's all of their goal is just, you need to be the best version of us. Which is very fitting for the MCU as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And justice. And,
absolutely. Yeah. I've seen a lot of this bring back Andrew Garfield stuff, and I don't disagree with the sentiment, but what people aren't realising is that if they go back into these other movies, it will only be Sony.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the problem.
Sony can't be trusted. This was good because it was essentially Amy Pascal showed up to Marvel Studios one day while they were making this movie with her permission.
We'll get into that because I think there's a lot of theories. As you said, there's lots of things that have come out in different interviews. So we'll get into Spider-Man future Spider-Man later. But I do really want to talk about the ending of this film and harrowing, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking horrible.
And also confusing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the ending is the way that Peter 1 works out that the way they can fix this problem of everyone coming through, and we can't stop them if everyone... So I think if I'm getting this right, if everyone forgets that I'm Peter Parker...
Everyone forgets who Peter Parker is.
Yeah. Then everyone will go back. But I'm presuming the spell is in particular that it's his version. I'm assuming that no one's forgetting...
I don't know. They don't specify.
Because the problem is he's fucked up. Because then Tobey Maguire's going back and MJ's going, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
So I think it is specifically supposed to be it's his version of Peter. Everyone forgets.
Did he say Peter Parker is Spider-Man? Did he say that I am Spider-Man?
He didn't say anything about Spider-Man. He said specifically Peter
Parker.
Peter
Parker is forgotten, not Spider-Man, because people still know who Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
But they don't know who Spider-Man is.
Or maybe Strange just had the comment to make sure it was him.
I assume it's people forget that.
Yeah.
It was phrased, people forget who's Peter Parker, I believe.
And there's things that kind of happen. So obviously, like, he's not erased from history. So it's like, as
he kind of is.
But as Faisal said there, though, MJ is still wearing the Black Dahlia necklace, so this still exists.
Things have happened. Yeah. Like, physical objects aren't going to disappear. But in
terms
of...
forget where she got it.
Yeah,
his actions, I mean, like, haven't been erased or anything like that. So, because even Happy, like, he knows that he knew Aunt May through Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Doesn't know how, but he knows he knew Aunt May through Spider-Man. So,
Spider-Man's still a thing. Yeah.
But where it gets confusing for me is that differentiation.
MJ's and Ned's involvement in things.
MJ's and Ned's involvement in the thing, but also, like, hang on. So Happy, you know him for Spider-Man. So who does Happy, who's worked very closely with Spider-Man, not know who Spider-Man? Who does he think Spider-Man is?
My assumption is
it's all this kind of stuff and how he's been involved with all these characters. It's like, well, where's your gaps in your knowledge, and isn't that going to fuck you up? But you're kind of like, well, I know this, but I don't know that. Like, that's where I'm really unsettled. And I'm sure it's going to get answered in future films, but like,
I don't necessarily think it will. I think it's meant to be one of those. It's a bit overcomplicated, but kind of glossed over things of filling in the gap. It might get answered, but
I feel like if they are going to continue with having this version of Spider-Man, this needs to be answered at some point.
To a degree, yeah. Like there needs to be a continuation. They don't necessarily need to go back and explain how the nitty gritty of it works, but I don't fucking know. Because a lot of it, what the hell do Ned and MJ think they've been up to for the last 2 years? I imagine to them none of it happened.
Well, I'm thinking.
I think in terms of events it's fucking confusing. It is confusing because how in their minds do they know Spider-Man?
Yeah. I'm thinking that they know he turned up in Washington, but it was just Spider-Man because they didn't see him without a mask on there anyway.
Entire last movie.
Yeah.
Like, surely they've only erased the existence of Peter, but surely, like, she would still know that she was in love with Spider-Man.
You would think.
Just not Peter.
She doesn't know it's Peter that's Spider-Man. I mean, I think they're hinting at she'll work it out again.
For sure.
If she,
because I think
he chooses to.
If we get more, we're getting more of.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Zendaya.
But like, I think, and it would be like if they did meet each other again, she would work it out. I don't think it'd be like a rush of, my memories have come back. I don't think that'd be how it works. But
I think she'd refigure it. I don't think she'll get her memories back. I think she'll just fall in love with him again.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, the film ends with him essentially choosing not to reintroduce himself to them.
Because it seems like their lives are on a better track, and he just wants to...
It's safer.
Yeah, and he just wants to
Which is
let them
what
be.
he was setting out to do in the first place, not have his life fuck up theirs. Which, again, I think is really good. But fucking harrowing.
It is harrowing. It is harrowing. Also harrowing, the Aunt May scene.
Oh, God. Horrible, wasn't it?
It was.
Horrible.
It was. Like, the explosion happened, and I just went, dead. And then she stood up and went, oh.
Okay.
And then she fell back down, and I went, ah.
Yes. I was correct.
Yes.
Dead.
I was right the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was just... That whole thing was just awful. And then they go and find him on the roof and...
Well, hello, Jojo.
Hello.
Faisal says something about contracts and opening it up again.
It's ended in a way where it could be just ended here if they don't want it to, but could be opened up. People want to carry on.
I agree until the last scene, but we'll go from there. We'll get there. The final scene where he's set up shop, got the new apartment, leaks out the window. You could leave it there, but otherwise, I think if you were going to do that, you shouldn't have gotten a new suit. Mm-hmm. Although that could be another. I mean, he's want a toy.
Yeah, I mean, he set up shop very much more in a traditional Spider-Man sense. So like he's got a shit apartment. He's made his own suit. He's got a police scanner. He's swinging out of the window.
The implication I took from the suit is because that no one knows who Peter Parker is. The Stark Tech stuff doesn't work.
Interesting.
Does it apply to computers?
I don't know, but that was the implication I took. That's all it was. So he had to build his own suit. That was the implication.
But I mean, that one would still work. It's just a suit.
It's Stark Tech.
Yeah, but it's thread. There's nothing really in it.
There is. There's the AI and tech in it, which is all responding
to him.
Wires
were hanging out.
Oh my god, Edith. Edith? No, not Edith. Help me. Karen? No.
Edith. Even dead, I'm the hero.
That's what's in the glasses.
That's the one I'm thinking of. The suit lady.
I think
suit lady.
Karen.
Yeah, Karen. Yeah.
Is in the blue one. This is a new suit from Far From Home.
Oh yeah, it's the one he built, isn't it?
It's the one he built.
Yeah.
So he didn't build it. He didn't put anything in it. Well, we haven't seen anything in it.
Yeah, I have seen as well. I've only seen the film once, and I can't find any clear pictures online. But I've seen people saying that apparently the new suit he swings away in has Maguire's Spider-Man logo on the front and Garfield's on the back.
Oh, okay.
I just was thinking pretty much like what Farzan just said about has he just made a suit sort of to look a little bit more like the other two Spider-Man suits as a bit of a homage to them. He may still have that suit.
When I saw it, I was sort of
for
taking
sure.
inspiration from.
But the only thing I mean, but I don't mean that he would unfeasibly make a new suit. Like I don't think that's plot-wise. I don't think that's. I'm just saying if they weren't going to continue it on and they were going to end it there, the new suit would be pointless.
Yes,
that's all I'm saying.
I think they're absolutely going to continue on.
No, I agree. That's their intention, and we'll get to that. Oh, we might as well get to it now.
Cool. I'm just going to write. Then I'm going to call this predictions.
We'll probably go back into spoilers because there are many things to talk about that we haven't done. But there's a weird predictions that you could just call it spoilers part 2 if we do.
Yeah, this is true.
So there's been 3 interviews with individually Tom Holland, Amy Pascal, and Kevin Feige. Basically, Amy Pascal pretty much immediately says yes, we're already in the beginning of starting another Spider-Man trilogy. So specifically 3 more. Kevin Feige has confirmed that Marvel is still involved in this, so it is an MCU Spider-Man trilogy. But Tom has confirmed that he is currently not involved. That means shit, by the way.
Yeah, it just means he hasn't signed a new contract.
Yeah, he hasn't signed a new contract, and they haven't told him whether or not it's going to be about him. But Amy has said she wants it to be with Tom. So it'll just be a case of they are working out a contract.
Yeah, because he did also see, I saw another, he's said so many things about it over the past week, where he said, I kind of want to take a break from acting to do this, and I kind of want to see other people do it. But I've also seen him say...
It'll be sad to say goodbye, and if they invite me back, I'll be there, is one of the other things. It's happening. Yeah, they'll probably just have to offer him a lot of money.
And with another Sony doing Spider-Verse, and if they do a live action one, we will see other people being Spider-Man anyway, so
in some
form. Get both ways.
They've opened it up now, so they can really easy just start doing shit.
Yeah.
If they wanted to, I don't know how they would reopen the Spider-Verse in live action. The multiverse is open.
Well, one of the things I was going to get to is I think now this multiverse open is what it is. Anything can happen now with these Marvel. Anything can fucking happen, and I'm not counting anything.
Yeah, depending
out.
on what happens in Doctor Strange. Yeah,
like I know that we've had stupid theories we've been coming up with over the past year or so, but fucking hell, man! Like, at the beginning of this year, we weren't really talking that much about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield being in this fucking film, like. And if we had said that even fucking a year ago or 2 years ago, that there's going to be in a few years' time against Spider-Man film that has all fucking 3 Spider-Man in it, would have gone, shut the fuck up, are you talking about? That's never going to happen. So, like, I'm really opening up this idea that literally anything could fucking happen with the MCU right now. Mm-hmm. Nothing is off limits as far as I'm concerned.
Hannah says... Oh, sorry, carry on.
Go on.
I was about to completely interrupt you. So.
Okay. But before the message goes...
And it says, remember, Andrew Garfield is not in this film according to interviews. Different types of interviews. This is build-up interviews, not to spoil or anything. This is back-end contract stuff. There's no reason at this point to lie.
No, but they also, as you even said yourself, like a lot of what they're saying is so vague, it means fuck all. So.
Well, it's not even just vague. It is vague, but it's not even just that. It's just that none of it's a no. They're just saying, Tom Holland has just said, I don't know.
Yep.
But he's also said, as you say, like, if they ask me, I'll be back.
Yep.
But he also wants to take a break. Yeah, this is all this.
But yeah, all these stupid theories you've had, right? I know I've said it countless times. Hugh Jackman, all these other people. I think anything is fucking possible at this point because they've done some crazy shit. But I wouldn't be surprised if further down the line in the MCU and in the multiverse stuff, we do get some of these characters again in one way or another. As you say, the multiverse is now open.
I mean, obviously... Depending on Doctor Strange, like they could shut it off again pretty permanently.
They could do,
but
I don't think they're going to.
No, I don't think they're going to either.
I think it's perfectly possible that in a few years' time, 5, 6, maybe 10, maybe not 10, might be a bit old, but we get a Endgame style end of multiverse film where they're back again. As though we need everyone from every universe to fix this problem, and. It's like, I know some guys, and you pull them in, and everyone else we've seen, all the other characters we're still to be fucking introduced to over the next... We've got loads of fucking, like, new characters we're being introduced over the next few years. Anything's possible. I think it's perfectly possible that we might see Garfield or Maguire, or both, or Ock, or whoever, at some point in this universe again. I think it's absolutely plausible. But I do think what's most likely is that Sony will do what you've been saying, and will revisit these characters within their own...
Within their own universes, and they'll be shit again.
They probably will. You're right, but I would like to think that the last few years has taught them a little bit to go. We will listen to Kevin. But
I mean, the other films.
The only reason I'm just like, but it clearly hasn't, is Venom and Morbius.
Tell you what I mean.
Absolutely, yeah.
No, so we haven't seen Morbius yet, but
we've seen enough.
We've seen enough.
We saw the trailer.
There's also questions there with how is Michael Keaton in it.
Oh
yeah.
Morbius doesn't make any fucking sense because it's in Venom's universe, which Venom itself has confirmed is not Tom Holland's universe, which means it's not the MCU.
I think it's Garfield's universe.
But there's nothing for that.
How do you mean? Sorry.
In the poster, there was Spider-Man that was wearing Garfield's suit. In there, in the poster,
Raimi's Maguire's suit.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
He's wearing Maguire's suit.
It's also a screen grab from the game.
Yeah, it's a loading screen from the game. Yes, so that makes no sense. But it's wearing Raimi's suit, and but yeah, Michael Keaton's in it, so it's MCU, but it's Raimi's suit. So it's
the only thing is with Keaton is because he's playing the same character, but he could easily be a variant. We've seen that there are some variants where they look the same. So it's absolutely plausible where it's not MCU's Keaton. But
I mean,
his role as a variant.
Loki's still the problem here. The show Loki,
absolutely it is.
It's because it fucked up what variants are.
Yeah.
Like, is this a multiverse or a timeline thing?
Yeah.
Again, like, is it fucking Loki fucked it up? Loki was shit. Can we scratch it from the record?
If it was just timelines in Loki, this is the thing. They all would have looked like older or younger versions of the same person, and that's where it gets one of the reasons it gets so confusing.
Yeah, the only variant that didn't look like Tom Hiddleston that was like okay was Richard E. Grant, because it was like okay, he's just playing older.
Yeah,
and
so much older. Yeah,
like you can't just
and the kid.
Yeah, because, exactly. Being younger. Yeah.
But no, I don't want to get into this problem.
No. That's a thing for a different day. But this. Like this and Doctor Strange, it's multiverse, easy, done. You don't need more explanation than that because they can look different. Yeah. They can be different ages.
Also, by the MCU's own logic, what they're trying to do and what they're trying to achieve, surely is going to fuck up the timelines in their other universes as well.
Probably.
Because they're trying to achieve everyone being healed.
Yeah.
So that they don't have to go back and be killed. Well, isn't that then going to fucking create loads of reality spin-offs again, like what we saw was happening in Endgame, because you're changing the timeline.
Yeah, probably.
So there's lots of weird little things there.
But their timelines in different universes don't matter.
It doesn't matter. But point is, Loki fucked it.
Loki fucked a lot of things.
Maybe the Loki show was a variant itself and should be destroyed.
It should be destroyed.
I do think that the issue with Loki is nothing more that it complicated the terminology, and I think it is supposed to be that the different timelines. Yeah, they're different timelines, but the different timelines can create different universes. I think is where it's going.
But then if it's the timelines creating different universes, they'd still look the same. Because the jumping off point, the person who is another version is being
created. But surely
created.
if their timelines, they would look different. They'd look the same anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so like I think it's supposed to be that they are different universes and the different universes and the different timelines are the same thing. It's kind of my assumption. It's not clear. That's not a great answer. I mean,
if timelines and the universe things is meant to be the same, then why don't all the variants look the same?
No, I know. Yeah, it doesn't make any
sense.
But no matter what, like there is no answer. By that logic, there is no answer that answers Loki correctly.
No, I think Loki is fucked.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think the writers of Loki did a fucking terrible job.
Yeah.
Of everything. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that shit show. We're talking about many a good thing. What haven't we touched on?
We haven't spoken a hell of a lot about, other than we said Defoe's performance. Just, I guess, really just... Obviously, we're not doing a scene by scene. We've agreed that. But...
That would be here for days.
We would. We haven't spoken so much about in Happy's apartment, where he's going through making the cures for the various villains. That was a great scene. That whole sequence I've really enjoyed.
Do you know, for me, standout sequence from that is actually the Peter Tingle moment.
Yeah.
Where he's just like breaks away
trying
with
to figure out what's
like,
happening.
Something's about to fucking happen, and him trying to work it out and getting it right.
You see Alfred Molina, see his face like something's going on, just like backs off, like I'll let you figure it out for that. Absolutely great. And yeah, it's just so many. I don't know. It's the same with most superhero villains, but I find it so much more true with Spider-Man than anything else. The villains are also tragic because they all start off as not always necessarily good people, but not bad people. They become villains through circumstance. So many of them, and that's so true of all right. Harry Norman Osborn wasn't winning any Father of the Year awards before he got he took the serum, but he was just a really intelligent scientist, essentially doing what a military scientist would do. You had Octavius was trying to make renewable energy for the entire world, and you had Max was just a guy that worked at Oscorp, quite a nice fella. Same with Connors, he was trying to help people.
Bullied and then was given power.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the only one who was a villain beforehand, when I say villain, it's by not getting into the whole moral reason why people commit crimes. Obviously, Sandman was a criminal before, and he was an escaped criminal, but he wasn't a tyrannical. He was
also a criminal just trying to raise money to pay for his sick daughter's medical bills.
Exactly. So there's that whole morality side of it, and I when I went for the second time, I went with Lizzie. Lizzie was too sick to come the first time, so I went again so she could see it. I have no complaints, but I go see it again. There are so many scenes where I knew something was about to come, and I just looked at her. I just wanted to see her reaction. And when the chip goes in Oc's back, we think he dies for a couple of seconds, and he comes back, and he's like, "Oh my god!" Like I'm back. The noises have gone, and he shakes Peter's hand. Lizzie was beaming, and I was like, that's exactly how I thought. I was so happy to see that, and seeing Norman being like just this scared, this really frightened, almost like a scared little boy. It just shows the range of those actors, and they are classically trained like thespians, aren't they?
They're what?
You heard. Oh. Imagine being classically trained in that.
Do you know one thing we haven't mentioned at all? Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, he was in it, wasn't he?
He fucked some shit up and then got beaten by Spider-Man.
And blamed
by maths. He got beaten by maths.
Amazing. I always get beaten by maths.
That whole scene was pretty cool.
Which one? The beating my maths scene.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
mirror dimension.
Well, the bit
Sequence.
that Hannah was talking about a minute ago, where
His ability to move the box. Yeah,
that whole fucking sequence was hilarious as well. Where he's like, "How are you doing this?" And then he's just like, "I'm gonna swim back to my thing." That was the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. Don't do it again. I was like, "Oh, was it coolest?"
Coolest thing that's ever happened to me, but never do it again.
How did he still control his body?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Spider-Man,
what
yeah.
the what?
Like,
No one
Doctor
else,
Strange
no
didn't
one
know
else has
either.
done that. And
Doctor
but
Strange's
they
how the
never
fuck are you
explained
doing
it.
that?
They never explained it.
No, they
needs
don't.
to
I like the
explain.
fact that they're dropping subtle hints. In the comics, it's always been there are. Obviously, this sort of shit happens in the comics.
Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
This sort of shit happens in the comics all the time. The whole time travel and all this, like, seeing things from the future, talking to gods and what have you. And it was always been that Spider-Man, even before he was bitten by the spider, was destined to be the greatest out of all of them, the greatest superhero out of all of them.
Right.
So it's meant to be that, and also it'll probably just be as Pfizer said, it's his body naturally reacting to the spider sense.
Okay.
It's a natural thing, isn't it? Like
I see. That makes sense. That makes sense.
We didn't talk about Ned.
Oh, we didn't talk about
No.
that. That's another reason why I think there's going to carry on.
Yeah,
properly,
because you've just given that character so much more
Yeah.
than
Yeah,
just
you
being
can,
a guy in the
and I
chair.
think it will. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in multiverse.
Yeah, I think we're seeing many of these characters again.
Probably. Although it's utterly different story, but we could see a lot of them again easily. Going back on, I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, getting on the conversation of getting Tom Holland back, I wouldn't be surprised if we get him back for one, and that's to bring, like, a Miles Morales into it or something.
Maybe.
Like a transfer movie, as it were, and then it takes over.
The only thing I'm thinking is that right now, like, Tom Holland's so fucking popular. Everyone is
for sure.
happy with
No,
what
I
they're
think
doing.
Sony and Marvel are going to want to keep him, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's down to.
It will be down to him, but I also think at the same time, actors say shit all the time, but I don't
Oh
wanna
no,
do
I'm not basing this off of
No,
what,
I know,
what
I
he
know.
said. I just mean, like, at the end of the day, it's down to him. Does he want to?
But
Yeah.
Does he want to carry on?
The world's got Tom Holland fever, like you say that right now, and I saw an article saying that he should play James Bond.
No.
There's been a lot of that.
Absolutely
between
not.
him or Henry Cavill.
It's
or,
just
Henry Cavill will be much better just because
Yeah.
he's an appropriate age.
exactly.
well, the thing is, if it was Tom Holland and James Bond, they'd have to do it as young Bond, and then he'd stop doing things like that. So no, I agree. I think we'll see a lot more of Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and we'll be introducing other things. But I do think we're going to get more than one of him.
No, I
we
think
might
we will.
only get maybe one more Spider-Man film of him, but I think we'll see him in other films.
Oh yeah, but I mean, yeah, I agree. I just say I wouldn't be surprised if it was just one.
Yeah.
And that, like, introduces Miles Lidar, and then at the
a mic
end,
drop.
he dies, sort of
Right,
thing.
yeah.
I reckon at some point I think he's going to die.
Yeah.
And that passes it over to Miles, because that's, other than in the games, that's pretty much what always happens.
Yep.
In the introduction to Miles Morales was in Ultimate Spider-Man.
There's
and
also time for that to happen in the game still.
Spoilers for Ultimate Spider-Man. I haven't seen it all yet.
not the show.
Oh, good.
The comics Ultimate Spider-Man.
Good.
Which was where it was introduced. They should get Mark Wahlberg as the new James. Where's the ban button?
We will fucking ban you.
Might as well get Tom Cruise. Don't have a Jack Reacher scenario again. Yeah, it introduces Miles Morales, and then in that universe, because we also had the Amazing Spider-Man and Ultimate, there was Earth 616, and then there was the Ultimate Universe as well. And in that universe, Miles was introduced. Peter died, so we had the normal Marvel Universe where it was Peter Parker, and then the Ultimate one where it was Miles Morales. Essentially. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they do, if they him off at some point. But no, I think you're right. I think we will get a lot more with Tom Holland, as opposed to just one. I just wouldn't be surprised if they did go for that approach. If that's more from because of Tom more than the decisions between Marvel and Sony, more than anything.
Yep.
I saw like a fan mock-up poster thing of Andrew Garfield in his Spider-Man suit with no mask on, with Gwen in the Spider-Gwen suit with no hugging, and I did think, I don't trust them to make it, but you know, I'm interested. I'm interested in the concept.
You could very easily introduce. You could very easily introduce Spider-Gwen. I think they should, because I think it would be great. But the problem with Spider-Gwen and Peter Parker is it would have to be a multi-dimensional thing, because in her universe, Peter dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peter becomes Green Goblin and then dies.
Right.
Which is like why she became Spider-Man. Like
Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen. Well, they don't call it that. This is not very... Spider-Woman is what they call it, but the comics are called Spider-Gwen, but in the universe...
Yeah, because no one knows her name's Gwen.
Yeah.
Why, she's wearing a mask. We know who it is. Gwen!
Well, it's the same as at the end. Why do all the Spider-Men wear the masks? The answer is computer-generated imagery.
Yeah.
It's easier to do the mask than it is to do their faces. But
interesting.
You look like you have an article.
This is for a bit later. This was something that we were talking about earlier.
Oh, I see. All in all, this movie's fucking great.
Yeah, it fucking is.
Yes.
I don't know what else to talk about, really.
I think it's my favourite MCU movie.
Yeah, I do as well, but I'm obviously on a bit of a high at the moment, so I'll
I
properly
am.
decide that when...
For me, it would definitely be top 3, I think.
Yeah.
But
After seeing it a second time, I'm pretty comfortable. Again, still on a bit of a high, but...
Hi, Saf. You've missed like the entire conversation, I'm afraid.
So I'm gonna put this like I'm gonna do predictions. I want to write this down to a brief conversation you and I had earlier, Jack. And I was gonna bring this up this evening, and then you called people stupid, and I felt like it was aimed at me unintentionally.
I see. Oh, well, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So there's been a few people theorizing, and actually, I have to admit, I thought of this myself before I'd seen other people talking about it. That because the end of this movie is him swinging at Christmas, that it's about to line up with Hawkeye. Mm-hmm. Hawkeye being set at Christmas, Kingpin, and are we going to get Spider-Man in the last episode of Hawkeye? Now, I just want to go out on a limb, go out there and put it on record. I don't think we are going to get Spider-Man in Hawkeye.
Nah.
But based off the conversation we had about the timing it was set,
yes,
I was looking into it after our conversation, and it is actually plausible. So if you depending on how you go through the timelines, so this is set immediately after the events of
Far From Home. It takes place over a few weeks and months and everything, but
well, Far From Home is a year over the course of the year after Endgame, because over the course of a school term of a school year.
Is it?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
The whole plot of Far From Home is them going on a summer school trip. So it's over that summer
yeah, which
term.
is a few weeks.
So do you mean he's come back, had a term at school in between Endgame and the beginning of Far From Home, and then he goes on his school trip?
Yes.
So it's been a few months.
Yeah, but it would take him into 2024, not 2023.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Which means this is picking up...
Yeah, this is one of those confusing things, because fuck knows, honestly. Because you can write down the thing all the live long day, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
this is meant to be like, it depends like when in 2023. Endgame could have been in January.
Yeah, exactly.
For all we know, so this could have been the term immediately after, because it's implied that it's only been a couple of months.
Well, it's the summer term, so it's implied that it's the summer half term, summer holiday. So it's implied it's from like June to September.
Yeah.
So which leads us into 2024, which means that we could be looking at that Christmas could line up to be in the same Christmas as Hawkeye, or it might be a year early. It's hard to tell because we also don't know how long the gap is. The Christmas at the end of No Way Home.
Yeah.
Could line up to be the same Christmas that Hawkeye is. Or it might be the year before.
Yeah, but in my head, hang on. I need to slow down, because in my head, from what you just said, it's still 2023.
Do you want me to just read this?
Basically, depending how late Endgame is meant to be set, if it's set pre-June, and then this is the summer term, and then this is a couple of months later, and this will be the Christmas after Endgame.
It feels like it's autumn. I remember there being like scenes with like loads of leaves on the floor.
No, I don't think it is January. But.
Yeah.
So this website here says, and obviously this is just an article that's working out the same things. It could be wrong, but I'm just going to go with the information they're using. It's from Collider. So that it says the main events of Spider-Man No Way Home takes place in November 2024. How can we be confident? Well, we've known for a couple of years that Spider-Man Far From Home, the last chapter of the Infinity Saga, takes place in the summer of 24. Apparently, it's fact. Apparently, I don't know where I've got that from, so I'll look at that for every minute. Thanos snapped his finger while wearing the Infinity Gauntlet and Vapor's half-life in the universe. It took the Avengers 5 years to revert Thanos' destructive push, putting the Avengers Endgame events in 2023. Far From Home takes place after a whole school year when Peter Parker goes on a summer trip to Europe with his high school class. So we can say for sure that everything that happens in Far From Home takes place between June and September 2024. So do
they ever actually say it's after an entire school year?
Yes, because they say it's the.
I know it's the summer.
Because they say they snap back at the end of term.
Yeah, so they snap back at the end of term, which means that
do they say? Hang on. Do they say this? No, they didn't. They don't snap back at the end of term. They snap back at the beginning of term because they have to. Because Betty says in the thing we have to retake all the tests despite the fact we did it in our last term.
But that could have been anywhere.
Marvel says blip ending snap is
which makes sense.
In which case that lines up with what this article is saying.
Yeah. Which then this puts this over 2024.
So it'll be the year earlier.
And then what's the thing here for?
Because No Way Home isn't set over a year.
Sorry, let me just find I've just lost the page. Bear with me. So this is talking about Hawkeye. Same website. Endgame events October 2023. Hawkeye happens later in the cinematic universe. Clint refers to the last time he wants to make up for. At first, it seems like it would be the time lost between the blip, which means it works out that Hawkeye would either be late 2024 or 2025. So it kind of just depends on when we know if we know that Hawkeye is set in 2024 or 2025.
Feige said that it's 2 years after the events of Endgame.
Did he?
From what I remember, someone had said, yeah, so it'll be Christmas 2024 and No Way Home. Yeah, we're establishing that.
Yeah, I think it's more is it Christmas 2024 in Hawkeye? That's the thing.
Yeah, when is Hawkeye set?
This is a big game. I like this. This is a fun game.
Yeah, my phone's run out of battery, so I'm afraid I can't help.
2025. Well, it depends. Hang on, because I've seen different. I've seen different things.
No, that's okay. It's complicated. It's fucking complicated.
At the end of the movie, this is talking about Endgame, when the Avengers get everyone back and defeat Thanos. This is 2023. By that logic, we know that Hawkeye is actually set in the future, but what year exactly? Steinfeld's character Kate drops several vague clues as to what years Hawkeye is set in. She tells Clint that she's been in martial arts since the age of 5, but she's slightly older than that when we meet her in 2012, meaning she was born before 2007.
I'm on the same article as you.
In Hawkeye, Kate is 22 years old, which means the show must take place at least a few years before 2029. What a useless thing. But after 2023, fortunately, director Rhys Thomas has given an almost definitive answer on when the show is set. He told Games Radar that it was the director of the show. Hawkeye's story takes place 2 years after everyone returned from the blip, also known as the snap, at the end of Avengers Endgame. This means that Hawkeye takes place during December 2025.
I saw that article as well. Hannah's just saying that Hawkeye director says 2024. Like, because I've got another article here that says 2024. So, like, there's definitely some, like, confusion over what the actual date is.
I think it's just the director. I think has the director said 2024, or did he said 2 years later and everyone's putting that as 2024?
He said 2 years later and everyone's just said everyone's just assuming.
So everyone's wrong.
But then the other thing is, this wouldn't be the first time that Marvel themselves have got timelines wrong.
That was. I blame that on Sony.
I also blame that on Sony. But like, he could also be saying 2 years and doing maths wrong in his head, and actually, it's not 2 years. Because this one here is saying Endgame spans 2018 to 2023, so a 2 year time jump should theoretically take us up to 2025. Except it's more likely that Hawkeye's set over the 2024 holidays, considering no other MCU projects have taken place any later than 24 so far.
Oh, okay, hang on.
Which means we're just under 2 years out from Endgame.
This article here says, it's 2024, Thomas clarified in a response to a fan question. For a period of time, we were going to set it 2 years out, which would make it 2025. Hence me messing with your minds about the timeline, but it's 1 year out.
There you go.
So it could do. It's not going to... This entire conversation was pointless because it's not going to happen.
I've been thinking that this entire time.
I don't think it would happen.
I think, like... Marvel Studios are fantastic storytellers. And I think Spider-Man showing up would remove everything the show's done.
This is the thing I was going to say. This is the thing. So I think there is a certain amount of plausibility because I think it does line up in a lot of ways. I think it lines up.
It does line up.
Timeline-wise, it seemingly does. Let's just assume that this is all correct and go... Theorizing that is correct, timeline-wise, it lines up. But I also think it does line up from a sense of... It does seem weird to me that they'd go through the effort of making that last swinging scene very clearly Christmassy, and you're seeing the Rockefeller tree and all that stuff, if not some kind of deliberate intention of trying to show you when it's set. Otherwise, I don't see how that's in any way relevant.
Comes out at Christmas. So just end it off with a bit of a Christmassy thing. That's the sort of bullshit movies do.
Yeah, but they've never done that before. I know there's the Sony thing again, but that's never been something they've done before. So it just feels a bit like, not sure, a little bit out of left field.
This is the latest of Marvel movies ever come out.
And it's possible. It is possible. Absolutely possible. But it did also get delayed. It wasn't initially supposed to be coming out then.
Yeah, this could have been shot in 10 minutes. This was an entirely CGI scene.
True. The many different possibilities. The other big thing is obviously we are talking Wilson Fisk, and we've had the Daredevil link with Spider-Man as well. So it kind of like there's enough vague connections there where it's potentially possible.
Yes.
Yes, Hannah, it does mean that, yes. Where it's potentially possible.
It is possible, it's plausible, but I just think Marvel know that this will take everything away.
No, this is where I agree with you. If they were to do it, it would take everything away. I completely agree. I would also love it at the same time. So be like, it's Spider-Man! But it would take everything away from Hawkeye.
It would take everything away, and also, like...
There might be a way they can allude to
I hated the connection everyone made to the fucking game. Burn.
Oh, yeah, because that's not relevant.
He had a police scanner app on his phone, yeah. Okay. Tobey Maguire had a police scanner.
I didn't even think about that.
But this was 2004. Basically, people are comparing it to the game because at the beginning of the game, he checks his police scanner app on his phone, puts on his suit, and leaps out the window.
Because that's what Spider-Man does.
Exactly. Tobey Maguire had a police scanner as well. It was just 2004 in that movie, so they didn't have fucking iPhone apps.
Yeah.
That's the connection. Like, also in the game, Spider-Man was very familiar with who Kingpin is. He's not in this, so why would he specifically be going after Kingpin?
Yeah.
He's not showing up. Basically, you might see him swing in the background or some bollocks.
I wouldn't be surprised if in later, Maguire then, in later Tom Holland Spider-Man films, Kingpin has something to do with them. However, it's not going to be.
Kingpin's not my problem here.
Yeah, Kingpin has now been established into this universe, so Kingpin could show up anywhere, and so can Daredevil, and I think we will see Daredevil in plenty of places.
Yes, Hannah, yes. I mean, I'd rather a series of movies, but yes.
So Hannah says they wouldn't be great if they did a Daredevil / Spider-Man Disney Plus show. Absolutely, they would be. What about, though, not Spider-Man turning up in the last episode of Hawkeye? What about Daredevil turning up in the last episode of Hawkeye?
That is more plausible.
That would be brilliant.
There's also more plausible. In this universe, he has a strong fucking connection to Kingpin.
Yeah.
And also, we left that on a bit of a... holy... what's happening? Because... Obviously, a lot of people are going, but it doesn't connect with the timeline properly. It does. But when they're coming out, they didn't snap away. All the shows were set from 2015 to 2016. Done.
Yeah.
They state that in the shows. But, and with Daredevil Season 3, they left that on a fucking holy shit note. And they've got a lot to do with Daredevil, because... If he shows up...
Daredevil to do myself. I've only seen one episode so far.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't say what I was going to say then. But
I haven't seen season 3, to be fair.
Oh, so good. It's so fucking good.
So far, going for one episode. Wow.
You've only watched the one since the other day.
Yeah, I haven't had the time, mate.
Yeah, just haven't got to the proper ones yet.
No.
You haven't even got to episode 2,
yes,
which has one of the most iconic fights in all of the MCU.
Oh, I might watch that tonight again.
Do it. Even if you just watch that fight. those series, Daredevil and the Punisher have some of the most iconic fucking fights in the MCU. Anyway, you don't need to worry about the rest. Fuck them. Jessica Jones. Actually, yes. I would watch the first season at least of Jessica Jones, and then the others you can be like, eh.
Yeah, but Jessica Jones is good. I enjoyed. That's actually, to be honest, that's the only one I've seen out of those ones.
I see. But yeah, they do connect. There's things to do, and obviously he would have a fucking bone to pick. So that would be more logical. I would fucking love it if he showed up. That'd be great. It'd be a good time to do it as well.
Yeah.
To throw the seeds out in loads of different places to show like who he is and everything. And now as well, at the same time, it would be a smart move. So I wouldn't be surprised. I just think the Spider-Man one wouldn't be a smart move.
No, I agree. I do agree. I don't think it'd be the smartest move because I think it would take away. I do think, when you're talking about kind of like why would he go, I think that's very easy to explain because he's being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's listening to police scanners and he hears something's going down.
Oh no, I mean what? Like I don't mean like. Why would he go and stop a crime? I mean, like,
right, okay, fair enough.
Why would he specifically be beelining for Kingpin?
He wouldn't be beelining for Kingpin.
That's just me finding flaws in the connection people are making to the game.
I do think
nonsense.
I do think that it's plausible for him to be listening to the police gathering here. There's something going down
and
with Hawkeye and some people at the Rockefellers, and he's like, "Well, I'm going to go fucking help." Yeah.
That. But I just think, it would take everything away because this is meant to be like Hawkeye's time to shine and the introduction of Kate Bishop. If you just throw Spider-Man in there now, especially after No Way Home came out and everyone's like, oh my fucking God, Spider-Man. It's just going to be like, oh yeah, that episode was sick because of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then,
I agree.
Fuck the bow guys then.
Yeah.
But,
unless they do some kind of crazy like freeway bow web shit. I don't know what.
I mean, but budget. They spent all of their budget on episode 1.
Yeah.
And I
think they spent all their budget on the giant arrow, didn't they?
Yeah, that was real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was built by Adam Savage.
I was going to say it was built by Peter Dinklage's character in a.
Well, Adam Savage is a real human.
Yes. This is the
who builds practical props for movies, but
okay. But I just thought it made more sense
that
in.
Is the non-walrus one?
Oh, okay, him.
He worked on Star Wars, The Matrix,
all sorts.
He's done a lot.
Cool.
He's done a lot. He's a cool guy. You've missed all the spoilers, mate.
Yeah.
You've missed.
You are late.
But yes, we are an hour and 21 minutes into this.
And I'm pretty sure close to wrapping up.
I think we are.
Yeah. I'd say we talked about pretty much everything. You've spoken briefly about Doctor Strange because. Sorry, but I'm a big fan of Doctor Strange, but you were nothing in this movie.
He did what
he needed to do.
Yeah.
I don't mean that he was nothing. I just mean like everything else was like, it's like okay, Benedict, you can go away now.
Yeah.
Like,
they literally locked him in the mirror drench dimension for the entire film.
Well, yeah, that was because they obviously knew it was meant to be Spider-Man was meant to shine.
I did enjoy the relevance to when he comes out of that portal and he's like, I've been dangling over the Grand Canyon for 12 hours. It's for me like a connection to Loki being like, I've been falling for 30 minutes.
I loved the other Spider-Man just went, oh.
But why?
Thanks for the help. Having a vacay.
You are in so much pain. I am.
One thing I was going to say, because we haven't talked about, our reactions and our feelings and blah, 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 blah. My biggest issue with this film, and it's my issue, this is a me problem. My biggest issue with this film is that, and this is mad that this happened, every single leak was real.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, that's fucking mad that every leak was real. And it's kind of like, it was a bit of a shame that in a way it means there was kind of no surprises because I had seen it all. I was like, yep, seen it. That's the one I've seen. Yeah, saw that. That was the shot I saw. That was the picture I saw. That was this. That's him saying...
See, I hadn't seen any picture or clips. It was just entirely people speculating.
See, I had happened to see it.
I've seen one.
I had happened to see it all. I don't know if that was because part of me was doing like investigating stuff into it because I found it interesting, and also some of it was just seeing it on socials and stuff like that. I think it's a me problem, but I do think it is crazy that how much of the film actually leaked, because the leaks I saw was Daredevil in the apartment, like the shot. I saw a screenshot of that. actual leak, and it was in the film. I saw it. I saw footage of the three of them fighting Lizard and stuff, which was the one where they were talking about Lizard being kicked. I saw the actual footage of that, which was in the film. The picture of Garfield on the scaffolding on the blue screen, and it's the animated.
That's the one I saw.
The animated clip where everyone thought he was saying, "Do you have web for blood?" Turns out he was saying, "Do you get web block?" But close enough. But that shot was in it. The three of them standing next to each other when Doctor Strange comes out the portal and talks to them was leaked. Like, pretty much every single leak that I saw was in this film, and it is mad.
I managed to see absolutely none of that.
That's fair enough. I'm not like...
Yeah. I saw the
I'm
Andrew
just
Garfield
saying.
thing and convinced myself it was fake and moved on.
See, the thing is...
I'd seen that.
I had convinced myself it wasn't, because they all looked pretty real. Because they were.
Yeah.
For me, it's just crazy that somehow Sony and Marvel managed to let that much leak. That's absolutely insane that happened.
Well, Sony, it's not like Sony never let stuff leak before.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
look at PlayStation. But it...
Not even that, mate. Look at fucking Sony movies and the
That's
massive
true, yeah.
fucking hack they had.
I was going to say, what about the Sony leak?
Yeah, the Sony leak.
That's true. But no, I'll tell you the one thing we haven't spoken about in detail, and it's about 2 seconds of the film, and it's a part in the lab, and I just wanted to bring this up. Andrew Garfield's reaction to the organic webbing was golden.
We have already brought it up, but yes, it was.
Yeah, but not in any detail. Like the whole... he one of my favourite things in film was just him being him, and I like whilst they did it better. Who?
Extreme Sports has said none of it. Fuck you, internet, on any spoilers, and eat shit for those who leak shit. And if you leak shit, wipe your bum.
Thank you for that, Extreme Sports. Do you need a hug?
No, we need some wipes.
Need some toilet paper,
Yes.
yes.
Hannah says, did you notice who any of the people starting to come through at the end were?
No.
No, I didn't really. I wasn't really paying enough attention. I'm sure on repeat viewing, I was masturbating at this point. So,
You did need some tissue.
Exactly. But I'm sure on repeat viewings, I will pay more attention. I'm sure there were like silhouettes of villains and different Spider-Man.
I saw a spear, I
and-
thought. I think I saw somebody hold like a big spear or a staff or something.
I mean, Spider-Man has a fucking massive rogue gallery. I'm very disappointed we didn't get an appearance from Big Wheel.
I thought you were going to say something else.
It's a man who drives a big wheel.
Let's see. That's what it says in the tin.
Yeah. It's the Ron Silver villain names.
Matt saw a comic book accurate Rhino. Nice. No, I like the fact that we are also in a position where the MCU can do these villains again.
Yeah.
Their own versions. Yes. They maybe not Green Goblin, because they kind of not fully, but they kind of established that Osborns don't really exist in this universe.
Yes, well they established that Oscorp doesn't exist.
Oscorp doesn't exist, but it's kind of weird to be like the Osborns do, but Oscorp doesn't. There are different versions of Green Goblin. It is usually Norman or Harry Osborn.
Isn't there the thing that people are all thinking that Ned's going to be
Hobgoblin? Yeah. Well, I don't think that's true anymore. I wouldn't have been surprised at the end of the day. But I mean, there's so many things, because like Flash is Venom in the comics as well, but they're not going to get that actor to play fucking Venom. That would be the fucking worst. No. I also kind of feel like with Jacob Batalong, that would be the kind of worst to play Hobgoblin as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's great, but
him
for that
being
role.
Some kind of slightly clumsy sorcerer, it makes more sense.
Yes,
definitely.
Yes, and I think that's.
I like the idea of him like following Strange and Wong around like a lost little puppy, like getting things slightly wrong with him, like really apologetic when they eye roll at him, and I would love to see that.
That's where I imagine it's going to go, and I think that's better. Yeah. I think that's better. But that's the ultimate universe, because Ned Leeds is Miles Morales' friend in the comics.
Right.
Is he?
Yeah. Oh. So he's Miles Morales' Hobgoblin. So there is another Hobgoblin that they could bring into this.
Get Mark Hamill to do it again.
Yeah. And there's so many fucking villains that you could do. There's so much shit. Venom becomes Agent Venom, who becomes anti-Venom. There's so much shit you could do. Oh, we haven't really talked. They could be fixing Venom.
He could be.
Thank God. They left a little bit of a glob behind.
Yeah, so did I.
That glob could make its way. That glob is clearly going to try and find Peter. We're going to get the black suit, and then it's going to go back to Eddie, I would imagine. But the thing is, you could just fob off the Venom that's happened before. You could keep Tom Hardy.
You could.
Because he could just be another Eddie Brock.
Yep.
In the MCU.
Yeah.
And it goes on to him, and he just becomes a better Venom. Because there's nothing wrong with Tom Hardy.
No. He's like the good. The good part.
I've not seen Venom, but I agree with the sentence. There's nothing wrong with Tom Hardy.
So it's another case of a phenomenal actor not being given enough to do, like in terms of like his performance, and he does well enough with what he has. He obviously plays Eddie Brock, and he plays Venom. He does the voice work and everything for Venom, and has those conversations between himself.
Oh, I didn't realise that. I was just assuming that was somebody else.
No, it is him.
You can kind of tell, to be fair, because it sounds a lot like Bane.
It does sound like it sounds like Bane, and the mannerisms that's very Tom Hardy.
It sounds like Bane with a cold, is what I established.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, you're right.
So he does that, and like proper dedication. He's there on set with an earpiece in. Like he pre-records the Venom stuff. That's all done. And it's in his ear, so he's actually having a conversation with himself, and it's all done. That they're putting the time and the effort in. So if someone just wrote it and did it properly, Tom Hardy would not be the problem. Tom Hardy is not the problem in those movies.
No, he's not.
If anyone has seen anything else with Tom Hardy in it, they know he's fucking incredible.
Yeah,
like legend.
Venom 2, I think. Venom 1.
I know.
Legend's incredible. But
I thought you were about to go.
No. Legend's one of my favorite things it's been in. I've got a bit of a sort of.
Don't get Charlie started on the craze.
Yeah, because
it's not the time.
It's not the time. I've got family connections to the East End. That's basically it. But the things Venom 1, I didn't love it. I didn't particularly like it. I thought, fine.
They're fine.
Whatever. Venom 2, I hated.
Oh, really?
I hated
I actually
Venom 2.
haven't seen it, to be fair.
Lizzie quite liked it, and I walked out, and she was like, you were expecting to hate it. And I was like, I was, but I still am mature enough to try and keep an open mind, and I wanted to be surprised. Oh, my God. I was so pissed off with that, with Venom 2. I really didn't like it.
Swinging it back to No Way Home.
Good idea.
Thwip. I did enjoy the very clearly, very deliberate, repeated MJ lines of expect disappointed and you won't be disappointed. Which she kept doing.
If you expect disappointment, you'll never be disappointed. Yeah.
Which she kept saying until the other two turned up, and then she was like, "Nah, fuck it, let's go kick some butt." I think that was very deliberately written in, of them going, just don't get excited. They're not going to be in this. Don't get excited. They're not going to be in it. I'm convinced that was very deliberate, and because it was almost immediately after they turned up, she was like, "No, let's go kick some butt." Yeah. So I mean,
if I had 3 Spider-Man on my team, I would be that confident. I'm not going to.
I would invite them to the bedroom.
Get that organic web fluid going.
Also, we did briefly talk about. I choked on myself. I'm sorry.
I do that all the time.
Some people wish they were flexible enough.
Yes, I really enjoyed the initial reveal of Garfield because I think the way they did that was sort of like, all right, find Peter Parker, opens up the portal.
I was immediately like, oh, it's Garfield.
Yeah, because as soon as
it sort of suit.
It was the suit and and sort of like just a silhouette.
The eyes were
like,
too big.
Yeah.
The eyes were too big.
Yeah,
but
straight away.
Like that was fine. Like the fact that you do immediately see that's him. That's definitely him. To then bring in, and be like, yeah, no, that's me. Like, I think that worked really well. And then the fact that they juxtaposed that with Tobey Maguire's being just simply him going, hello, like, worked. I think that worked really, really well.
It was really good. That bit when they're in the apartment and they're starting to figure out what they're going to do, and they start to figure out what Ned can do with the strangers, his rings. Lizzie was to be, I really go to the toilet. I went, no.
Not yet, you don't. Well, the
have
thing
my
is,
cup.
mate, I remember when we went, just as we got to that scene of the apartment, because it was directly after a big moment, I saw multiple people get up and leave to go to the toilet as we cut to that scene of him in the apartment. And then moments later that happened, I was thinking, you lot are fucking fucked up.
Yeah. Lizzie,
they haven't got the app. There is an app.
No, they just haven't got any fucking sense.
Well, no, there is an app that tells you when to go to the toilet.
Yes, really?
Movies,
I've never understood the idea of being excited about this. Just learn to hold your piss.
It's not an ability thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's whether or not you need to fucking pee. Like,
I've needed to pee for about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I know, but you're clearly not desperate for a pee.
I mean, I could happily pee.
If I were to tickle you,
Yes.
what?
You would get a swift punch in the throat. That's what would happen.
Yeah, there's a certain point, and I do, up until the point where it's just like, I have 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But that's my thing. I'm aging now, so
Yes.
I don't
No,
need the
I
toilet.
understand
I don't
that.
need the toilet. I don't need the toilet.
I need
oh
the
my god, crisis! Look,
It's normally somewhere on the M25 when the next service station isn't for another 15 miles when that happens to me.
yes, and that's when I just
Piss out the window.
that would all come back in.
Only if you open the back window.
Yeah.
No,
It would just go. It would, wouldn't it? It really would.
When you open the window, the wind blows into the car.
Yeah.
But I guess it depends on if you're like hanging out of the window.
Do you remember? I can't remember where we were driving. We were driving somewhere, and I was out of wiper fluid.
Do you remember this?
And my windscreen was really dirty. I couldn't see a fucking
Remember
thing.
this.
And we were on the motorway, so we were going at like
it had been like raining dust.
yeah.
Right.
So I couldn't really fucking see. So I just grabbed a bottle of water and tried pouring it out over my car, but it just immediately just went. Poof. I was like, oh, I was
do
hoping that would
remember
work.
I do remember that.
I felt like a fool and still couldn't see.
Oh.
Anyway, shall we start coming to a close?
I mean, I wrote
Yes.
closing thoughts down at 15 minutes ago.
Excellent, excellent. Well, would anybody like to give me the reading thing?
Reading the things.
Reading the things. We can't read, but we're reading the things.
Anyway, Hannah has written in to us, as usual, and we appreciate it greatly. Hannah has said, went into this film knowing that as a Marvel fan, there was as much chance of no one extra turning up as there was everyone. I can't read. Had we done ourselves another massive injustice by over-speculating? Was Reed Richards going to show up? Or Mephisto? The film was great. The fallout of everyone knowing who he was felt all too real. Yep. It was a bit dumb his first port of call was a spell and not appealing to the college's decision, but we'll go with it. I gave a little yelp when Matt Murdock showed. I gave more than a little fucking yelp. I gave Kristian a like 20-minute tug. I knew Jack must have been beside himself.
Yeah, unfortunately, the problem was he was beside me. That was the problem.
Yes. And halfway through the film, I felt I was having so much fun with all the villains. I wouldn't feel shortchanged if the other Spider-Man didn't show. Then Ned cast that circle and shouted Peter, and I grabbed Matt's hand because I knew what was happening. Andrew Garfield was a treasure in this film. People are asking for Amazing Spider-Man 3, and I'm in. But I've always been a fan of his Peter Parker Spidey. I felt for how broken he was after Gwen's death, and loved how happy he was in this newfound Spidey camaraderie. Also, Tobey Maguire made me able to unhate his Spidey. Maybe it was that unequivocal youth pastor energy he was exuding. He's still my least favourite, but there was a lot of redemption in this for me. I've really enjoyed this trilogy. Me too. Oh my God. Tom is such a damn likeable Peter and Spider-Man. You really root for him. And I think they did a great job dealing with so many characters and strands in this film. Characters and strands in this film. Let's hope they can keep up the quality with the next three and give us that Amazing Spider-Man 3.
I agree with pretty much
I need to
everything.
proofread things, so I'm not reading and saying as I go. That's my main problem. I don't read things in advance.
Yeah, that sounds like an error.
It's because you can't read, but you're reading the things.
Exactly. But well played. But yeah, we didn't mention the
No, I forgot to mention the Garfield saving. I mean, we
Garfield
kind
saving.
of called it.
yeah. I mean, it was, but I mean, like, we didn't call that help. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
scene would be.
Everything we called, I don't think it took any satisfaction or joy
not
away
at
from
all.
me.
No, absolutely not. But yeah, it was just him getting very, very emotional when he does catch her.
She's like, "Are you okay?" Like, oh.
He's like, yeah.
But it was almost a I am now type thing, wasn't
But
it?
even
Like,
when Tom Holland scolds him on top of the school, where he's like, "Don't tell me you know what I'm going through because you don't," and he's like, "Okay," and he's like, "I do, but I'm not going to argue it."
we're
Like,
past this point.
Yeah.
Well, they're supposed to be far more experienced, essentially,
Yeah.
aren't they? And they've been through it all. But that whole sequence of the MJ falling, because you even see him shout like, "No,"
yeah.
like in a I'm not letting this happen
Yeah.
again before he jumps off the thing. It's very, very good. Yes, had forgot to mention that.
Yeah. There's so many huge pinnacle points that it was difficult to remember. I'm sure there's others we've
I think, yeah, like all just simple things, little throwbacks, like Osborn being like, I happen to be something of a scientist.
That was amazing.
Myself.
Yeah.
And Peter
There were so many.
Peter Parker just being like, when he's talking to
trying to do better.
Yeah, trying to do better, like all that kind of stuff.
There was a couple, I think. There was a couple more. Power of the Sun, and obviously the palm of my hand. That was the same conversation. But yeah, it was
I think a little reference to something Hannah said as well about how they did a good job of having this many characters and stuff without making it too much. And I think the difference is because it was a concern you had was are they going to be too much?
Because obviously Marvel haven't been involved in the past, but this is a Sony movie at the end of the day. Obviously Marvel are heavily involved, but it's still a Sony movie, and they are notorious for fucking up Spider-Man movies with too many characters.
And it's a fair concern to have, but if you look at the difference between what this one did and what the other two films that fucked it up did, is the other two films tried to have multiple different plot things. Right?
And this is one story that involved multiple characters, whereas the other ones were, like Spider-Man 3 had the Venom story and the Sandman story and the New Goblin story, and then Amazing Spider-Man 2 had the Electro and the New Goblin and.
They're trying to set the Sinister Six, weren't they?
Trying all the Sinister Six shit, and there's stuff with Peter and Gwen, and there's so much going on.
Reminds me, I saw the deleted scene you were telling me about of Peter and his dad.
Peter and his dad, yeah.
Oh.
So there is a deleted scene from Amazing Spider-Man 2 where at the end when he's at his dad's grave.
He's at Gwen's grave.
Gwen's grave. His dad is there, and his dad isn't dead. And Peter Parker just loses his shit at him. And it's fucking fantastic.
It's an incredible performance from.
Yeah,
it'll be on YouTube. We'll find it afterwards.
It's an incredible performance from Garfield. Really, really good.
Mm-hmm. It just goes to show exactly what we've said multiple times. It doesn't matter how good the actor is. The script needs to be good, and the director needs to be good, and just everything needs to come together. Like an actor can only do so much.
Star Wars, the prequel trilogy, is an incredible advert for that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Ewan McGregor on his own.
Thanks, Hannah. I enjoyed that.
That was funny.
I don't get it.
He should watch this show because we'd spoken about that on this show.
Oh, I see. I get it. Sorry, I was being an idiot.
These two idiots.
Shut up. There's video evidence of you saying nice things about me.
Yeah, we'll have that purge from the internet after this.
No, I've saved it. It's on my phone. It's my ringtone.
You get a call, oh!
Yeah, my phone rings. I don't come every time I get a phone call.
Oh, I do.
Oh.
Fuck.
That's not where you're meant to put your phone.
Oh! What? I thought it was a built-in pocket.
Shut up.
No. What I will say, though, is does anyone have any closing thoughts?
No. Not really. Other than I had a really good time with this film and I can't wait to watch it again.
Me too.
I like Spider-Man. Please give me more.
I fucking love Spider-Man.
And that. Just
I have a... It's the one tattoo I don't have on show. I feel like a penis. Anyway, this has been... This has been Admit One, your movie and TV podcast right here on Rabbit Hole Media. If you like what you're doing and what you're doing is watching us, you can follow us on Twitter at rabbithole_UK. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. Will you be quiet? You can see us anytime that you wish. You can follow us on Twitch and Rabbit Hole Media. And please make sure you join the Discord so we can continue. Well, not this chat in particular, because that would be rude for everyone else who hasn't managed to see the film yet. But we can continue all sorts of movie, gaming, music, food, whatever. Share your screenshots, share your clips, share your trophy hunting and achievement hunting stories over there. The link is in all of our channels. You can find it there.
Indeed.
We need to find a concise way of talking about Discord.
You say we.
Yeah.
I'd say join the Discord.
Discord, join it now.
Advertise, sell it. That's why that's why our rigmarole doesn't fucking work.
Join the Discord. It's fucking great, innit?
Done. It's a bit good, isn't it?
Just don't share your chits. Oh, I mean,
someone's already been told off that.
You can add an NSFW thread. I'm not saying we should.
You can do the rest of there we go.
Yeah.
And now, you can follow us You can follow us on Instagram at rabbitholemedia_UK. And on TikTok at Rabbit Hole Media for all the behind the scenes tits and bits. If you'd like to support us, head to merch.rabbitholemedia.co.uk for a wide range of merchandise that will only get wider. And finally,
wider and finer. We brought that in last week.
You
weren't here for that.
You weren't here for that.
Therefore, it doesn't count. It's not canon. And finally,
you need come for the sub bench for you. It is
different universe.
Oh, very good.
And finally, if you are watching us live on Twitch and are an Amazon Prime member, you get one free Twitch Prime membership a month. Please find it within your hearts to give that membership to us. It doesn't cost you a penny. It goes a very long way in helping us bring you the shows that you love.
Guess what?
Teapot.
I think there's one more show now before Christmas.
There's no more shows now before Christmas.
Christmas isn't what I was supposed to say. Before the end of the year.
Yes. It'll be Hawkeye.
By the way, I don't know when I'm going to be able to go see fucking Matrix.
Judging from the reviews, that's not an issue.
We might have to move that one.
When is it scheduled in?
It was supposed to be the Thursday after Christmas.
I see.
There's no way I'm going to see that by then. So we might have to move that one.
Just go.
Yeah, all right. Great. I'll just go. Problem solved.
Yeah. I've solved your problem.
Wow.
I've solved your problem.
When's the next show, Jack?
Your typical unhelpful fashion. That's amazing.
The next show is Hawkeye on the 28th. Is that correct?
Yep.
Is that the Tuesday?
Yep.
The Tuesday after Christmas.
Nailed
Next
it.
Tuesday. A week today. Oh yeah, a week
I will be in Brighton.
today. We will be here talking about the finale of Hawkeye. I don't know who's going to be on it.
I think it's just you and me.
This is cool.
Yeah, I have previous arrangements.
Fuck you.
Agreed.
Thank you very much for watching this long episode of Admit One where we just gushed for a while. I like gushing. Charlie,
Didn't say anything.
you laughed.
I didn't say anything.
You laughed.
I didn't say anything though.
As this is the last show before Christmas, have a lovely Christmas and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Wish
you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
I ran out of air.
If that was planned, I could have done with some warning, you fuckers.
It was not planned.
Good. And you're forgiven.